So right now I'm in a tiny little town in Bolivia, but last week I actually just finished doing the 5-day Salkantay trek to Machu Picchu. And I took so many videos of the trek, so I thought I would put it all in a video. And so if anyone's interested in doing the trek, or if you're just curious what it's like, you can watch this video, see what we did, what we ate, where we slept, and everything like that. At the end, I'm also going to talk about how much everything costs, so if you're curious about that, definitely stick around. It's currently 4:25 a.m. and I'm walking to go meet everyone else who's starting the trek today. We have a 3-hour drive before we actually get to where we start trekking. I'm not a morning person. Are you ready? So there was 60 of us total, but we were divided in groups, and our groups had 19 people. We drove for a little bit, and then we had our first stop for breakfast. And before we knew it, we were hiking.
Well, I'm half the time.
They gave us 2 things that supposedly help with the altitude. So the first was this liquid, kind of alcohol that you put all over your face and it helps with your breathing. And the second was coca leaves, which you're supposed to chew on, and they're supposed to help with altitude sickness. We've made it to the first viewpoint of the entire trek, which is this lake that's just completely blue with a waterfall and the snow-capped mountains in the background. It's absolutely beautiful, and just this would make a 5-day hike worth it, but this is just a very beginning. The camera, of course, did not do this place justice at all. After another couple hours of hiking, we made it to our first accommodation, which are these little tiny huts just with mattresses in them, and we had our first lunch. Every meal comes with tea and soup as a starter. And between lunch and dinner, we literally just took a nap, so this is dinner. So it's 8 p.m. on the first night. We're packing up our stuff so that tomorrow when we wake up at 5 a.m., we don't have to pack. Yeah. We've lost 3 people today.
My feet really smell.
3 people have given up and have gone back home after the first day. Might be me tomorrow. It's 4:50 in the morning, and we've just been woken up with some tea. And we have to pack up and go to breakfast.
Cheers.
Cheers. Also, Carrie-Anne spilled her tea on the bed, so...
Oh, the bed, look, you
Can you see it? I don't think... Oh, yeah, you can! Anyways, and we have nothing to clean it up, so... This little hut is where we ate all of our meals here. Something that's important to note if you're going to do this trek is that they don't give coffee because it's actually kind of bad for altitude sickness. But I'm addicted to coffee, so I brought my own instant coffee packs. And every morning I mixed it with this hot chocolate that they had, and it was really good. This was breakfast today, and we also got snacks to bring on the road with us while we hiked.
Power, ready? Okay. Yeah, 1, 2, 3.
Peace go power! Peace go power! Peace go power!
Let's go!
After 5 kilometers, we arrived at this little village, and they got one of the locals there to do one of their little rituals that they do.
This man is a Quero. Quero is a guy which is Inca's descendant, bloody directly descendant, and also mentally, traditionally as well. I'm gonna tell you later on. Let's see.
So basically, he explained to us that this calling is asking Mother Nature for good weather, and we did it today to ask for good weather while we're doing our trek. We're just starting day 2 of the trail.
Oh God.
3 people quit yesterday, and
5 people are on a horse.
yeah, 5 people have decided to. Today's the hardest day. You go to the highest peak, so 5 people have decided to take a horse to the peak. Honestly, I want to, but I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, same thing. Amazing.
And apparently they've got like
We started,
certain
well,
requirements
today we
in
started
place
even
to-
further that way,
Yeah, and the cool thing,
but we started climbing down there.
They come from plants. They like extract the dyes from the local plants.
So this mountain is called Salkantay, which is also the name of the trek. The peak of it is at 6,200 meters, but we're not going all the way up there. We're just going to 4,800 meters. A couple of years ago, 11 Japanese tried to climb all the way to the top, and they actually all died. Our guide said that it used to be a bit easier to climb it, but because of climate change, there's been a lot more avalanches, and that's why a lot of people die trying to go up Salkantay.
1 week, my first time.
We've just made it to the highest peak of the entire trek. Now we've got 2 hours down until lunch, and then 3 hours more until we get to camp.
Those pillar stones right there, that is the elevation. 4,631 meters or 12,200 feet. So this is our highest point. Linguistic information, Spanish, like last day, Spanish, they're going to come to the area and they're going to ask what is the name of that mega snow cap. According to the first local people, the name is Salkantay. Salka means frozen or ice. Anti access for the frozen place.
So I'm actually so mad I didn't catch this properly on camera, but suddenly we were up there and we started hearing, it almost just sounded like thunder, but it was actually a landslide. So right there where I zoomed in, there was a massive landslide, and apparently it happens all the time. And as I said, that's why so many people die trying to go up Salkantay. So a lot of people will actually make offerings to the mountain, and you can ask for pretty much whatever you want in exchange. And back in the day, they actually found a lot of human sacrifices that were made as an offering to the mountain. So today we built this little pillar of rocks and made an offering.
Step to step to step.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This is me.
it looks like marble, but it's not.
That's in the summer where I grew up. It's like that.
Okay, chicos, you have sweet candy? Sweet candy?
Yeah.
So this is for you, chicos. This is your offering. Remember, sweet stuff means good luck, good time, good weather, good destiny. Okay, coca, the product from the valley. Remember, the Salkantay is basically supply water, 4 ecological systems, 3 ecological systems. So in total, 7 ecological systems. So coca. Ahora, sí. This is for you. This is for the health. Remember, if you don't have health, you cannot do anything. No hiking, no traveling, no working, no don't making money, no making family, nothing. And this is for Peru. Football national team to work Algún día, nunca hay que poner las esperanzas. Agarra, papi. Y esto is Oporto. Oporto is the first wine. When the Spanish, they're going to come, remember, we have a cultural shock, okay? Don't try to think that we just are proud to be Incas. We also proud to be Spanish. Because without Spanish, no Peru country, all right? So that's why the best product is from wine from Spain, but we produce here. So that's why Oporto is just for offering. Santa Tierra Pachamama, kay patapsi may mana Ruana, por favor, mucha salud, very health, good health, a lot of money, to still working, traveling, working very well. Gracias Pachamama, gracias Salkantay. Está rico. Okay, chicos, ahora please, all of you please, let's make a circle. Vamos, vamos. All together. Eso es. But Inca's culture and Spanish culture. The Inca's culture, shape of the mountain. The Spanish culture is the point where the Incas, the Spanish, they're going to set. Okay? Vamos, hug each other. Okay, eso, chicos, todos all together. So, muchachos, this is a perfect time because remember, this time is not going to repeat. It's only one time. Got it? So that's why we have to hug each other and to have a good destiny and but the most important, good health. All right? Listo? So let's make a hole. 1, 2, 3. Close your eyes. Just 3 seconds. 1, 2, y 3. Be quiet. Okay, ahora clap for us. Each other. We have to hug each other to have a good energy and good destiny. Papi Lauro, Papi Lauro.
After our little offering, it was time to get hiking again. We hiked 2 hours down the mountain to get to where we had lunch.
Yeah, kind of like doing your own thing.
When they're all empty.
We hiked 3 hours more, mostly in the rain and hail, until we made it to our next camp. Again, it was just a little hut with some mattresses on the floor, but honestly, like the best night of sleep I've ever had on these mattresses, probably because we were just so tired. We decided to do some much needed stretching before having dinner, which I forgot to film, and then we just went to bed.
Yesterday I was fully burnt out. No, I didn't freeze this night.
Day 3, we woke up at 5 a.m. again, but today's a chill day. We're only walking 8 kilometers.
Hooray!
And then we're going to hot springs! So I don't know if you can see how puffy my face is in that last clip, but that's actually from the altitude. And I didn't know it back then, but I ended up getting really, really altitude sick, which you'll see on day 4.
There wasn't much to do and there wasn't a lot of tourists, so...
We stopped at a local farm where we were able to try like some really fresh juice and fresh fruit, and we also played a bit of soccer while we were there. I loved it so much, I got another one. That's definitely my new favorite fruit.
Just had the best passion fruit in the world.
It's actually the best, and we can never have it again in our lives. And this might be the saddest moment of my life. After a very short 8 kilometers today, we got picked up by this car that brought us to our next accommodation. We were super excited to have lunch, and today ended up being probably the best lunch of the entire trip. This was our accommodation today, and I mean, you would literally pay like $200 for this per night back home. I also realized that I never showed you kind of like the bathroom situation, and this was pretty much what the bathrooms looked like at every camp. Before heading to the hot springs, we stopped at a local coffee farm and we were able to watch them make coffee, and we also got to try it.
Arriba, abajo, al centro, una monedita, adentro. Cheers.
I wasn't able to film inside the hot springs for pretty obvious reasons. We just got out of the hot springs. It was okay. It was more like just two big pools with like a bunch of kids and just a bunch of people in it. Like, it definitely felt more like a public pool than hot springs. For me personally, it didn't actually feel that worth it, especially because it's an hour drive here and an hour drive back, and obviously the price of it. So I don't think I would have done it again, but it's not like I hated the experience either. We stopped at a local bar after the hot springs, and I didn't have anything, but this is when I started feeling really, really sick. So basically, at high altitude, your body digests food a lot slower than when you're at low altitude. So obviously, today was the day we'd come down from the mountain, and so my body started digesting at a normal speed again, and that's what made me really sick. I barely filmed anything today because of how sick I was, and the only way out of where we were was to hike. So I ended up having to hike 16 kilometers, and then I was able to take a train instead of hike the last 10, and I literally just slept the rest of the day. So to get tickets to Machu Picchu, you actually have to book months in advance, which we didn't do. So we came on this trek knowing that we didn't have any tickets. And basically every single day, they give away 1,000 tickets for the next day to visit Machu Picchu. So from 4 a.m. today, we stood in line, and thank God we ended up getting tickets to Machu Picchu. And we celebrated with pizza. So I hopped on a bus, which brought us all the way up to Machu Picchu from the town we were staying in. We stood in one last line, and finally we made it to Machu Picchu. So Machu Picchu is one of the 7 wonders of the world. It's a city that was built over 500 years ago by the Inca civilization. What's really impressive about the city is how it's built in the mountains at over 2,400 meters of elevation. It's hidden so well that it was only discovered in 1911 by an American explorer. Since then, it's become a symbol of wonder, mystery, and resilience of ancient civilizations. They're still not sure what the purpose of Machu Picchu was back in the day. Some people believe it was an estate for Inca emperors. Others believe it was a religious site or a site of learning. Either way, it really reflects the deep understanding that Incas had for architecture, agriculture, and astronomy. There was only one entrance to the city through this big gate. Another thing that makes Machu Picchu remarkable is that it didn't take them a very long time to build it. They estimate that it took them around 50 years. And considering that they had to transport these big stones without any equipment in the mountains, it's really incredible. They even had 2-story houses. Incas have 5 animals that they believe are sacred, and one of them is the condor, which is a bird. They even built a temple here that is in the shape of a condor.
The head, the peak, and the 2 eyes.
Yeah.
And this circular white color stone is the necklace, the white feathers around the head of the condor. And the wings in the natural formation of the stone. 1 and 2. You got it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's in the position of flying.
After 2.5 hours of exploring Machu Picchu, it was time to head back. We had another 3-hour walk before getting to where we got picked up by a bus. On the way, I saw the cutest puppy in the world. And we also stopped for some food. And that was the end of the trip. We got picked up by a bus and brought back to Cusco. So I did this trek with a company called Machu Picchu Reservation, which is the cheapest trek to Machu Picchu that we were able to find. So you're probably curious how much all of this costs. So the trek itself is $220, but there are so many like add-ons that you can add to that it ends up being a lot more expensive than that. So basically I've made a list of all the add-ons, and on this side I'll write all the add-ons that I used, and on this side I'll write the ones that I didn't use. So you have $220 for the trek itself, and that doesn't include your ticket to Machu Picchu. So the ticket to Machu Picchu is $40. Then there's a bunch of gear that you can rent if you don't have all the gear that you need to do the trek. So I personally rented a backpack, which was $15 for the whole time, and gloves, which were just $1 to rent for the whole time. You could have also have rented boots for $25, a coat for $15, wind pants for $10, and I'm sure there was some other things as well that you could have rented. As you will have seen in the video, you could choose to take a horse up to the highest peak of the trek if you didn't feel like you could make it there yourself. So taking the horse was $60 if you chose to do that. There's also some extra activities that you could do. So I paid $20 to do the hot spring activity, and you could have also done zip lining for $50. At the accommodation, except for the last accommodation, which is in a hotel, all the other ones don't include hot showers. So if you don't want to take a cold shower, you have to pay $5 for the hot shower. You can also pay to charge your phone. So except for the last hotel, to charge your phone, you have to pay $5 for that as well. I ended up only having to charge my phone once on the trek. All your food is included, but something that isn't included is water, which is a bit weird, but I guess it makes sense that they can't carry everyone's water. So along the trek, there's a bunch of places where you can buy water. Usually for a 3-liter, it'll be around like $5. I ended up spending $15 for water on the entire trek. And at these little stores that you can buy water, you can also buy other stuff like Powerade, snacks, and things like that, but I didn't buy anything else. To get to Machu Picchu, you can either walk all the way up there or you can take a bus. So the bus one way is $12, and you can also take it on the way down for another $12. I only took it on the way up. And then the last thing that you can add on to your trek is taking the train back to Cusco. So instead of walking an extra 3 hours and taking the bus, you can take kind of like the scenic route and take the train, which is $70. So for me, total, this 6 days of trekking cost me $328. But if you were to take all of the add-ons and shower with hot water every night and charge your phone every night, it could cost you up to $600.